Well, I guess it's going to be one of those days today where just tons of stuff gets thrown out there for gaming news, and there's just so much stuff. I would figure we'll go over some of it today and then more in Newswave tomorrow morning. It's getting a little crazy out there with this. We got a new Zelda game that got dropped this morning randomly, and it's coming out this year. So a bunch of Xbox Series S stuff was officially announced after it was pretty much leaked completely last night and was in Newswave for that. And it looks like some Tokyo Game Show stuff is coming out even pretty early, and some of it looks really, really cool. So we're going to go over the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity here, and a little bit of a look at Nintendo's holiday lineup now that seems to be kind of set. I think they're still missing a few things. And then on the second channel, Spawnwave Plus, I'll talk about the Xbox Series S information. There's some pretty cool stuff in there as well. So check that out and sub to that channel if you have not already. But yes, this morning, like 9:30 a.m., boom, Nintendo says, oh, we do need a game for the holiday, November. You know what? Just put a Zelda game out there. Yeah. And you know what? I'm really excited for the Zelda game because I think there's a ton of potential with this. We have to see, of course, how they pull it off because it's Koei Tecmo that's doing it, and I liked Hyrule Warriors, but it seems like this is going to be a bit more of a project for them, we'll say. I guess Nintendo really liked the Hyrule Warriors that was on the Wii U, and then it was moved to the 3DS, and then we got it on the Switch with the Definitive Edition. So it looks like they said, you know what? Let's add it to what is now the Breath of the Wild trilogy. That's right. It could be more than that even, but as it stands now, Breath of the Wild is a trilogy. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like it down below to help out, and subscribe if you're new here. Let's go over to the video that they put out where Mr. Aonuma himself came on screen and said, hey, Breath of the Wild 2, it's taking a little longer. You know, we're working hard on it. It's going to be a little while. I still think this is going to be a holiday 2021 game, right? So I don't think it's going to fall to 2022. I think it's going to be a way that they cap off the 35th anniversary for Zelda next year, and what a great way to do that, right? Breath of the Wild 2 coming out in like November 2021, and actually maybe even a year after Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity comes out. And this also works, by the way, towards Nintendo's idea that they had put out there before, that Zelda would be an annual series that comes out every year. We'll get a game, and here we are now with Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. But they weren't just there, of course, to tell us about how Breath of the Wild is going well and they're working hard on it. It's not ready to be shown just yet. They want to tell us about a brand new game that we'll be able to check out in 2 months. That's right, in 2 months, a new Zelda game is going to be coming out November 20th, and it is going to take place 100 years prior, so it is a prequel for Breath of the Wild. And the idea here is to, as they say, witness the events of the Great Calamity firsthand and try to save Hyrule from destruction, which we know it won't happen. So because it's a prequel, of course, I mean, you look back at any series that we know what's going to happen, and then we go back and live through the events with the prequel. Keep in mind, with Breath of the Wild, they had talked about and alluded to and mentioned the Great Calamity, but as Aonuma himself says, they didn't go into specific detail and show it. And you know what? It sounds like a pretty tragic event, obviously, as the champions were lost. Link ends up in 100-year slumber, and Zelda was stuck in the castle holding Calamity, Ganon, and all this. It was certainly not a great event for Hyrule. I mean, the place gets basically destroyed. So we already know what's supposed to happen, but we get to see it all unfold in front of us. And the part that I'm really excited about, by the way, because they show it is a warrior-style game, so I know that's not going to be for everyone, but I liked Hyrule Warriors. But the best part about that is there's going to be a ton of playable characters. They show that you're going to be playing as all the different champions, which is great because I hope that this game is going to be very story-driven, and we get to see each story for those characters because we know what's going to happen to them, right? We've played Breath of the Wild, so I hope they get some really cool, we'll say outros for that, but I hope they get some really cool send-offs and all of this. It's going to be, I think, a blast to play through and see how these events unfold and get to know these characters even more, but it will be done in the style of these big battles that are being fought. Kind of makes sense for the Great Calamity anyway. Now, Koei Tecmo, the producer for the game, comes on screen, talks about how they are working closely with Nintendo. They did showcase a bit of the game itself, gameplay, visuals. Looks obviously like you'd expect, like Breath of the Wild, right? It has that same visual style. Makes sense considering it's going to be in the series now that's been created here. Once we thought we'd have just a sequel, nope, we're getting a prequel as well. So a trilogy for Breath of the Wild, at least as it stands now, could go further. You know what? having several games based around Breath of the Wild would make sense. So if they want to go further than this, sure. I mean, it's a obviously critically acclaimed Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, one game of the year, sold tremendously well across 2 different systems. So yeah, keep going with it. It's making a lot of money. People really enjoy it. Absolutely. My only hope is that they do what they've done here with this Warriors game. They don't try to make every game that possibly ends up in this series just like Breath of the Wild. In fact, I hope Breath of the Wild 2 is in some way different when it comes to gameplay or the world or even the open world parts of it. I hope it's just kind of like different enough to where it can be its own game. People will look at Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity as its own game because it plays so much differently than Breath of the Wild that we've already played, right? You'll be able to play as all the champions, Link, you'll be able to play as Zelda. Yeah, Zelda was running around just backhanding different enemies and sending them flying. It was so cool to see all this happen. Now, I do expect this to play very similarly to Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition in that it could end up being a very mindless grinding style game. But, I liked Hyrule Warriors for that at times because it wasn't a game I always had to think too much about to sit down and play. You go through, you knock out hundreds of enemies without too much issue. And, of course, you play through different campaign scenarios and all of this. And it was fun for what it was. But I hope because they're pairing it with Breath of the Wild and they're working so closely with the Zelda team here that they're going to take this whole thing to the next level. I know not everyone's going to be excited for a Warriors game, but I think because it's so intertwined with Breath of the Wild and there is so much story to tell here that it's going to pull in a lot of people for the Warriors style of games, right? But just, of course, also for Breath of the Wild to continue getting larger and larger until we build up to that Breath of the Wild 2 game next year. Now, looking at this year for Nintendo, this was like that last thing they needed because right now we, of course, have the Mario 3D All-Stars game that's going to be out in 9-10 days or something, right? It's pretty close. It's less than 2 weeks now. Then we'll get Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I assume there's going to be the Pokemon DLC getting announced soonish, right? And maybe its own Pokemon Direct, or maybe they just drop it on Twitter. And there's also word of there being a Smash character as well, so keep that in mind. That could be something where they just drop it on Twitter and say, hey, join Sakurai from his awesome living room where he talks about the next character that's Ryu Hayabusa or it's Travis Touchdown or something. And then we go into November, which would be November 20th, for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. You know what? That's a pretty solid holiday, I would say, for Nintendo. Also, you know what? I'm starting to get used to these games getting announced, and they look awesome. And then they go, oh yeah, it's coming out in like 2 months. Or for 3D All-Stars, it's coming out in 2 weeks. No big deal, just go ahead and grab that. I am starting to like that, though, to where these announcements are very close to release date. I know it doesn't work for every single game because you want to have a large marketing push or build-up at times. But like the 3D All-Stars collection doesn't need much of a marketing push because it's Mario. They're games we've played before, but it's awesome to see it in a limited edition collection. And then this is a Zelda game, and we'll still have a 2-month window. But I kind of like the very, I guess, it's not instant gratification, but much quicker than having to wait multiple years and multiple E3s and events to get to a game's release. I'm getting used to this. I know it's certainly on the fly right now because 2020 is all over the place, but I don't know, I kind of like it. Also, this might be one of my favorite box arts for the Switch. Have you seen this? Look at this. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. It looks amazing. It certainly looks like it's not going to be a happy ending just looking at the box art itself, right? A lot of destruction, and of course you got Link and Zelda right there, but it's I just like the box art. I think it goes really well with the theme of the game itself and the overall tone. Oh, and it's pretty obvious that Nintendo could have had a September Direct, right? They could have thrown some stuff into it and done it, but I guess they had so much Mario stuff, they were like, it'll be all this Mario stuff and then like Zelda, like this one Warriors game that we had. And it kind of makes sense because Hyrule Warriors might have gotten lost in the shuffle there, whereas here, everyone's talking about it today because it's really exciting to see this. It's not Breath of the Wild 2, but it is another piece to the puzzle of that story, and that on its own is, I think, perfect for an announcement like this. But let me know what you guys think about Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and pre-order it. I'll grab it physically, and I'll play through it and enjoy it like I did with Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, which I did grab on the Switch and play back through. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm very curious to see how much story Koei Tecmo is able to pack in here while working alongside of the Zelda team, so it can all hopefully culminate and fit together with that Breath of the Wild 2 release at the end of next year. Thanks, guys, for watching. Let me know what you think about all of this down below. Make sure you like the video on the way out if you enjoyed it. Dislike if not, and I'll see you next time.